So, Ballpoint. I actually just got done reading this about a few minutes ago, and pretty much this was one of the cutest Transformer stories I have ever read. So if you have watched my free comic book day vlog back in May, then you know that this was one of the issues that I wanted to grab, and also the Energon Universe 2025 special. From that, I was really looking forward to reading this one because we actually got a few previews of it like way back in January, and just from looking at it, it's a pretty fun story. I didn't, specifically read this right after I got home from free comic book day because, I was just, taking my time and I had to edit the video, but I read this actually a day later, and I remember I absolutely enjoyed this book. And I remember it got me laughing, a few times of, how amazingly funny this was. One of the best comics I have, ever read, aside from, the Energon Universe stuff. So a few months later, they actually did release the trade paperback, which was actually advertised in this book. And pretty much yesterday, as of recording this video, I got it in. I just read it today because, I had the time. But after reading this, the full story, I absolutely enjoyed it. So this book actually right here is in chapters, and fun fact, the whole entire first chapter is in this free comic book day issue. So basically, if you have read that specific issue, then pretty much you just read the full chapter right here. But this has the rest of the chapters in it, and it completely has a new perspective once you read every single chapter in this book. Now, literally, whenever I was reading this specific book, I was chuckling so hard at a lot of these moments because there are some fantastic lines that are in this, and also some of the references, that they put in this book, like, I'll just, I'll have spoilers, saying in the beginning of this video, but literally Bumblebee was listening to a different version of The Touch and Dare, and I was busting out laughing because of how hilarious it is. But also, like, some of the actions that Ballpoint does to the Decepticons and Autobots is absolutely hilarious. He was like writing like a few, things of like Autobots, or, ordering a pizza to the Ark, like, what? And then the funniest part that really got me chuckling was Ballpoint pretending to be a dentist to Optimus Prime, might I add, and saying that they haven't had their teeth checked in over 1,000,000 years. And then Optimus just replies back with that, saying there's a problem. Cybertronians don't have teeth. Maybe he's not even sure if he has a mouth. That got me busting up laughing of how hilarious that was. And I mean, like I said, there is plenty of hilarious moments that does happen in this book, and it's fantastic. And if you are worried about, if they're, gonna have, the classic, G1, moments and designs, they absolutely do, but like in the most like cutest way that they did. Specifically with their designs, it looks pretty cute. But then with like the actual moments that do happen in this book, it is very, G1-esque. Like Optimus Prime, still having, the personality that we all know and love about him, the be strong enough to be gentle aspect about him. And then obviously Megatron's rage at the Decepticons, which is hilarious, specifically at Starscream, just kicking him off the throne of, at the Decepticon base. And, just absolutely yelling at him. And then at one moment, Megatron requested for an Energon smoothie. And then Starscream was like, one Energon smoothie coming right up. He brings back the Energon smoothie and just or the Energon shake. I think it's Energon shake. He brings it back and Megatron's like, nope, I don't want this anymore. So it's so hilarious. It really is. And I will have to also, talk about, the character of Ballpoint. I literally think of him, like, whenever I was reading this book, I literally thought of him, like, as if you know the term of don't judge a book by its cover, I feel like that is definitely something that represents, Ballpoint in a way, because sure, he might be titled the worst bot ever, but once you read towards the end of the book, then you can understand how fantastic, Ballpoint is. He literally isn't the worst bot ever at the end of the story. He literally turns it into the most, useful characters in this story, but sure as heck, the Autobots absolutely loved, having his help and stuff, because in the turn of events that happened in this book, there was something that after the Decepticons went to a solar field, and they all took the blame on Ballpoint. They kicked him out, and then, Ballpoint went to go to the Ark, prank called to have pizzas taken, then, was pranking all the Autobots, and then, of course, that one moment that I described with, the Autobots having teeth. That was him trying to prove himself, but once he actually, talked to Optimus, then he realized that he's not, bad at all, and once, the Decepticons attacked the Ark, he, helped him, and Optimus was willing for Ballpoint to help him through that. And he ended up literally turning the tide of the whole entire battle, distracting Megatron for a bit and letting Optimus, hit him. You remember that one scene in the Transformers movie, how Optimus was saying never, and he punched Megatron he was swinging a baseball bat, except, Optimus was using his hands. He pretty much did that. And because of that, Optimus was so proud of Ballpoint at that moment for helping him turn the tide of that battle, and he pretty much became an Autobot after that. It really, really was a wholesome moment that did happen in this book, and I, absolutely loved it. Seriously, if you are looking for a lighthearted Transformer story, this is definitely something I highly, highly recommend. There are some extra details that I do want to show you guys once you do finish the book. And this first thing is how to draw Ballpoint. So you get a little instructions of how, to draw his head and stuff. And that's the final thing after. And then you also get some character sketches as well of the Decepticons and Autobots down here. And the next page is pretty much a reading guide of all the important settings, notable characters, key themes, and just any discussion questions that, people had, for this book. All I gotta really say is that I really, really enjoyed this book. And like I said, if you want a lighthearted Transformer story, if you read the free comic book day issue and you love that, I highly recommend you pick up the full book because it is absolutely fantastic. That is pretty much it. Really, really hope you guys have enjoyed. Again, highly recommend this book. If you want to pick it up, go pick it up. It's really good. That's gonna be it for today's video. Really, really hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.